Iran claimed to have busted a massive espionage network operating within the Islamic Republic as it continues its retaliatory strikes to avenge the killing of top Mojtaba Khamenei aide Ali Larijani. According to IRGC-affiliated Tasnim news agency, Tehran's intelligence ministry claimed it dismantled what it called opposition royalist cells and arrested 4 alleged spies working for the United States in a nationwide security operation. The ministry claimed that 111 individuals were identified and arrested from across 26 provinces overnight, further adding that significant amount of weapons were recovered from them. 4 spies of the U.S. regime and its proxy services were identified and arrested in the provinces of Hamadan and West Azerbaijan. These traitorous spies were reporting to the enemy the location of headquarters, equipment, and deployment of security forces. According to Tasnim news agency, the Iranian Intel Ministry claimed that the 4 arrested spies were allegedly reporting to the enemy the location of headquarters, equipment, and deployment of security forces. Iran's big internal purge comes days after it confirmed the killing of Ali Larijani, the secretary of Tehran's Supreme National Security Council. Earlier, Iranian authorities claimed they executed a man suspected of spying for Israeli spy agency Mossad, even as Tehran continues to attack U.S. and Israeli military installations in the Gulf.
26, Israel carried out the single most consequential targeted killing operation of the entire Iran war, an operation that eliminated the man who had been holding the Islamic Republic together since day one of the conflict. His name was Ali Larijani, 67 years old, secretary of Iran's Supreme National Security Council. And when Supreme Leader Khamenei was killed on February 28th, the very first day of Operation Epic Fury, Larijani inherited the impossible task of keeping the regime functional while everything around it was being destroyed. For 18 days he survived by doing what every hunted leader does. He abandoned his known offices, avoided government buildings that Israeli jets had been pounding since the war started, and relocated to a hidden safe house somewhere inside Tehran. But Israeli military intelligence never lost track of him, and on March 14th, Quds Day, Larijani gave them a gift by walking openly through the streets of Tehran in a public display of defiance, surrounded by thousands of Iranians rallying against the American and Israeli campaign. Israel was watching that march carefully, and within 24 hours, the United States escalated the pressure by placing a $10 million bounty on Larijani's head through the State Department's Rewards for Justice program. The bounty included something far more dangerous than money. It offered full relocation out of Iran for anyone who provided credible intelligence on his whereabouts, essentially inviting anyone in Larijani's inner circle to sell him out in exchange for a new life in the West. 2 days after that Quds Day appearance, on the night of March 16th, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and incoming Mossad chief Roman Goffman authorized a massive coordinated aerial operation targeting Iranian leadership across 3 cities at once. Dozens of Israeli Air Force jets launched toward Iran and simultaneously struck targets in Tehran, Shiraz, and Tabriz in a single coordinated wave designed to overwhelm whatever remained of Iran's degraded air defense network. In Tehran, dozens of precision munitions struck command centers belonging to Iran's intelligence agencies, the Ministry of Intelligence, Internal Security Forces, and the Basij paramilitary organization, while drone storage sites, ballistic missile depots, and air defense positions were systematically destroyed. In Shiraz, Israeli jets hit an Internal Security Forces command center and a ballistic missile storage facility, and around Tabriz in the northwest, additional air defense systems were dismantled to extend Israel's uncontested control of Iranian airspace even further. Larijani's safe house in Tehran was among the targets struck that night, And afterward, a senior unnamed Israeli official stated plainly that there was no chance he survived the attack. But the operation went far beyond Larijani. Israeli jets also struck a makeshift tent encampment inside Tehran, where Basij commander Gholam Reza Soleimani and his deputy Sayed Karishi had relocated after deliberately abandoning their known headquarters to avoid detection. Israeli intelligence found them regardless, and both were killed along with what officials confirmed was the majority of the Basij paramilitary's entire senior command structure, eliminated in a single precision strike on a tent camp they thought was invisible. That same night, the Israeli Air Force also killed the commander of the IRGC's aerospace force in a separate strike, and hit another safe house in Tehran.
The world is now asking one question: what happens next? They killed him in the night. No warning, no announcement, just an airstrike somewhere in Iran, and by morning, one of the most powerful men left standing in the Islamic Republic was gone. Ali Larijani, the head of Iran's Supreme National Security Council, the man widely considered to be the de facto ruler of Iran since the death of Supreme Leader Khamenei, was dead. Iran confirmed it, Israel confirmed it. And just like that, the war entered a new phase. This is not just another name on a list. This is the man who was holding the Iranian regime together. To understand why this matters so much, you need to understand who Larijani actually was. He was not a frontline general, he was not a revolutionary firebrand, he was something rarer and in many ways more dangerous. A system man, a survivor. Someone who knew where every lever of power was hidden and how to pull it without making noise. He held a doctorate in philosophy. He had led Iran's nuclear negotiations with the West. He had served as Speaker of Parliament for over a decade. He was close to Khamenei in a way that very few people ever were, not just politically, but personally. He understood how the Supreme Leader thought, how he made decisions, and how the entire system of clerical power actually functioned behind closed doors. When Khamenei was killed on February 28th, Iran lost its symbolic and operational center. Larijani was one of a very small group of people who could manage both the war and the politics around it. A hardliner who understood negotiation, and a system loyalist who understood limits. He stepped into the vacuum quietly. No formal coronation, no public declaration. But everyone inside Tehran, and everyone watching from outside, understood what was happening. According to the New York Times, Larijani had effectively been running Iran since January 2026, and now he is gone too. The strike happened overnight between March 16th and 17th. Israel's Defense Minister Israel Katz confirmed the killing the following afternoon, thanking not just Air Force pilots and intelligence personnel, but also, notably, American partners. Iran confirmed the death hours later.
That they have killed the Iranian intelligence minister Ismail Khatib. Do you know anything more about this?
Yes, we've just heard from the Israeli defense minister confirming in what he says the success of the assassination attempt of the Iranian intelligence chief Ismail Khatib. And according to Israeli military journalists and analysts who have been reporting on the story in the past few hours, he's been a target in attacks that targeted Tehran last night, saying that he was close in the Israeli perspective to the new Supreme Leader Ayatollah Mujtaba Khamenei. According to the Israeli sources, they say that they have been gathering intelligence information that allowed them now, Rashad, in the past 24 hours to declare the death of 3 senior Iranian officials. We were talking yesterday about Israel's announcement. In fact, it was Katz who announced the killing of Ali Larijani, the top security official in Iran, as well as the Basij commander Gholam Reza Soleimani. Now we see a second announcement in 24 hours by the Israeli defense minister saying that they indeed killed the intelligence minister. Now, in addition to that, the Israeli defense minister has said to expect surprises on all fronts, saying that this war is going to continue on both fronts, the one targeting Hezbollah and the one targeting Iran. Also, he said that the defense minister, Israel Katz, has him and Netanyahu instructed the military to to conduct assassinations without requiring to get approval from the official sources, saying that this day will see even more surprises when it comes to this war. This is seen as yet another target, another success in the Israeli perspective to assassinate and crack down more on the Iranian regime. Since the war started, it started
surviving the first wave of airstrikes, Iran's shadow leader stepped out of hiding for a public propaganda rally, thinking that he was untouchable. But he made a massive mistake. The mistake wasn't attending the rally, but rather what he did afterward. And that's a mistake that he's regretting right now in hell. Take a listen.
Official Ali Larijani is dead. He was killed in a strike overnight, according to Israel's defense minister. This was probably the most significant strike, you could describe it, in the past week and a half, as the Israelis and the Americans are going after the structure of Iran's regime. Larijani was largely considered the de facto leader in the aftermath of the killing of Iran's former supreme leader, and uncertain questions about Mustafa Khamenei, the man who was elected to be the next supreme leader. Larijani was serving as the secretary to Iran's Supreme National Security Council. I can also report overnight the Israelis, in a separate strike, killed the top commander of Iran's Basij forces. This is a wing of the IRGC. His name is Ghulam Reza Soleimani, and he was responsible for commanding the crackdown on protesters earlier this year across Iran. An official tells me this morning that over a dozen.
Now, I want to show you guys how exactly US and Israeli intelligence found him and took care of him. But before we get into that, I want to show you guys how Iranians are actually reacting to the assassination of two people who were behind the massacre that happened in January. Take a listen.